Hi everybody, my name is Chris Kruegel from VMware and I'm joined by Thor Draper from Booz Allen today. Welcome to the show, Thor. Let's jump right in. Obviously, Booz Allen works a lot with both federal and commercial clients. And I'm just wondering, what do you see as their key security problems and challenges?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. There's quite a few problems out there today. Users are basically or customers are out there basically connecting to the cloud for a variety of reasons, looking at developers, looking at utilizing the cloud native applications. And as a result, security becomes one of their biggest challenges. There's a lot of traditional mindset of on-prem that, when you go into the cloud, that seems to follow many of the implementations.
Do you see differences in the challenges that people face when they have to move to multiple clouds compared to a single one?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, one of the key challenges when you do the multi-cloud is that there's different security postures that exist within each one's or security controls. So how do you get all that telemetry? How do you synchronize your security posture between the multiple vendors that are out there? That is definitely a challenge, and we do see clients struggling with that in many cases. So we've tried to kind of work with them to give a better and quicker way for them to analyze their security posture and maintain visibility into those environments that when any changes happen, they can react.
Of course, we like Zero Trust a lot. I know Booz Allen and you do as well. Maybe you can briefly define Zero Trust because there are different definitions around, and then tell us a little bit of where you see challenges in implementing Zero Trust in a cloud or in an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest, the big definition is, it's really what the NIST and CISA have put out there around the 5-pillar model. Booz has a 8-pillar model that what we really look at. One of the key reasons we have 8 is we emphasize the analytics and monitoring aspect of it, and the automation and orchestration pieces, right? These are two critical components to making Zero Trust actually work. Our clients are struggling with understanding how to do this. We have some clients that have been on this journey for 2 years, and in that 2-year time frame, they've done quite a bit of good work. However, they've not achieved Zero Trust, primarily because the organizations still behave much like traditional IT organizations. And that includes even in the cloud, even makes the dimension even harder. But looking at people, process, technologies, there's confusion on the technology side. There is people challenges and culture, and obviously the processes are in many cases very legacy. So we work with them to kind of understand and develop a way to collect that data in a rather efficient way, do the analytics, and kind of prep them for the key piece of being able to have just-in-time security, as well as the automation of allowing access based on Zero Trust parameters.
Would be interesting to learn a little bit more of, when an organization wants to work with someone like Booz Allen, how should they think about it and how can they approach you so they get the most out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Any of the firms, but I can tell you specifically with Booz Allen, we've spent quite a bit of time of understanding what is happening. It's primarily from the government side with other commercial clients. And, so we have a pretty deep bench of folks that do analytics, that do, your traditional cyber, that do AI activities. So one of the things that we always encourage clients that want to engage us is they should think about the fact that it is definitely in both our interests that we get an understanding of the environment so that we can identify the gaps that are there. We don't want to have surprises occur after we start the work, right? So in many cases, that's where the challenge exists. So, gather as much information as possible, be very open when it comes down to the definition of what the work's going to be.
Thanks, Thor. Thanks for sharing the insights from someone who is out there in the trenches trying to secure the multi-cloud journey of many of those organizations out there. Really appreciate for you being here today. Thank you, Thor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate it, and have a good day.